the official letter from NCC4.
Okay.
Inti abani NYANTAKYI. Inti I've stepped in an acting capacity for now. Inti stepped in an acting capacity for now, and after I get to Abana, then I would officially take over as the chairman. So I just wanted to clarify that, so we don't have any.
The chairman is the champion. For now, action. For now, the owner will hate you.
Okay. As an acting, yes. So as a vice chairman, as an acting chairman, until say the talk.
But there's something that the chairman does not can say. Or transfer kakra. Now, none of them was room.
Yeah.
Oh, football was room. None of them take you over. Aha, means answering now. Okay, now, all baby will not tremendous na the car said, baby. But who will be saying, the baby saying, the name dear of football, no, I was so. I'm facing me, one will be here, man, I in ye.
Sure.
Intino, made the neighbor on board. And I'm proud than the NYANTAKYI, the buy. And Cobas watching home. On one side, the two must say. And then NYANTAKYI and create.
So on the road in Pabwa,
a share,
the Cassian, the share, said, now, her man, what is about all watching now, or the now, or the in India, about one another. What is one now is the acting diaspora chairman for the club Hasselhoff, the Continental Club Masters. What I said.
Okay. Now, your ambition.
Okay. So ambition is very clear. As Hasselhoff as a club is a big brand. Right, and so the more analysis, no, it means that Messi, outside. He talked about Real Madrid. He did some comparisons with Man City and stuff. Ubaya Africa has said, even into a greater extent, the world that Hasselhoff is a very big club, and the ambition remains the same for us. What we are trying to do is say, supporters are more areas for Hasselhoff. How do we bring them all together and have a common goal of helping Hasselhoff become successful? Inti Jumane said, we are spread across the world, and as a acting chairman or as a chairman right now, working with the executives and making sure that we are all coming together as one, and using whatever knowledge that we've gained overseas in our own little way to help the club thrive or come back to its glory days, if you will. And see, vision I want to. If I say Haspa back to glory days and using our voice and our knowledge that we've acquired to bring our brothers together and do this as one unit. So.
Oh, okay. Is it diaspora for Mami Musa? Dear Pa, na mo ye boa Hasselhoff kuo
Okay, so there's a lot that we do on that side when it comes to diaspora. First off, you're making sure say the club in our own capacity, from a financial standpoint, Togbe, our leader, is putting a lot of money into the club, right? And we have the board itself too. And our supporters who we are seeing now, even Ghana, your chapters near the end now, your digital 20 at the end. But Obi say Obi man so there, it's going to move. So how can we also be a supportive factor to the board and help from that standpoint when it comes to money, financial? Now you see bit me out Hasselhoff in that aspect. So from anywhere from financial contributions to also, I wouldn't say if we do see players that we think some will fit it. Hasselhoff in our own little way, whatever we can do, because at that point in there, it's open for discussion, right? So if we can talk to these players and convince them that the best club to play for is Hasselhoff, and we are able to do that in our own capacities, we bring the player to the table and have a discussion with them. And this is done all over the world, right? As long as it's done the right way. And hopefully to lure them to play for Hasselhoff and to help us build our team. So those are some of the few things that we do.
So meaning say recruitment at Hasselhoff see do me be a be by young convincing more man brano. Budi apotile was
Yes, but at the end of the day, everything will have to start with their coach, and they Hasselhoff as a club there. It's young as a diaspora, and they ain't mean fire pen can say they are player A and I player B, but Nina started with the show of say club net show interest in a player. That's where it starts from. It is who's a club net show interest in the player and it's a target signing, potential target signing for the club. That's where Omoyo Omojumano and convincing the player. I think that's where we can also step in and potentially talk to the player to see how best we can convince the player to come play for the House of Folk.
And then name say, I be a House of Folk supporters. We are seeing that best or original monazo. Has team into Jan and Naso. Of it, we House of Folk performance last 2 seasons. Last season has FSO best survival relegation last meet. Among 4 P3 say House of Folk supporters na kasa. Edumedio Mudibua club apart from especially supporters leadership. Among 4 P3 say we are seeing na Ofa NCC chairman and then in penny for at the barman on in generally supporters Mutumedia Mudi abafo. Or more kasa answer. You see last 2 seasons. You see last season, any this season now. Oh no, we are doing sampa. Would you make baby to see?
I think this is a difficult question, right? But I think say Oshe ye league in general now. This is not to House of Folk. I think say Oshe Kotoko, Oshe other clubs, big clubs now, Kakrana, Yo, Ghana, say now. We are all going through the same stint, right? And I think say for House of Folk, to single out House of Folk, per your question, a lot of our fans are going with say your team not performing, right? So Osha say has a check kakra, like if you're winning matches be to us one, you can see the passion rise up right away. Osha said the Omoko Stadium, Omoje Ball no one idea. And if we see the opposite, which is team no start so muluziswa, you see another passion, but a different type of passion, which is discontent. When some people have voiced some opinion of how bad a club is, or say the Mumpe coach and Abibisa. So I think say it's all the passion that drives how the team perform and how passionate the club, the fans are. No, is what's driving these mood swings, right? Into we need a team to come back to winning ways, and I think say once that starts happening. House of Folk supporters there, I want to say, in my opinion, we are the greatest supporters in the world.
Okay.
So if Fadia has more there, you know.
Also, can manager go to Queen Bob, go send you.
Manager, he knows. Last week, I know we go TV, so I'm saying, go to Konibi or Testans, and I'm saying the ref, you know. Yeah, Bohas and Yom Nan was started to be.
And you're where there.
I think, say, yeah. Sadia Yaba form has everything to do with Sadia team performing. And if we go back on winning ways and we became consistent, I think so we'll get the fans back.
Okay, now I'm so you Papa, we need the hour grown, I was sort of wouldn't have grown ye, and now you're paying your house. You see, has team no, then the maiden Candia to them. Last 2 seasons, not has FS or best surviving relegation. Last season is here, this season has a Folk, 7th on the log. And now if you say dear pan a challenge, my house a connectisa.
So me and my dream question with you, like my dream this scenario like a lot, trying to put the pieces together. And I came to 1 or 2 reasons in here being say what happened. I think say the first reason, maybe a lot of people would not believe, like they wouldn't agree with what I'm saying. But believe it or not, it's there. Right, I think say in life, who drew point to be at, there's always going to be ups and downs, right? Your high moments and your low moments, right? And we can use teams like Liverpool as an example. Okay. Liverpool in the 80s were a really good team. Then they just hit a plateau where no one performing. They had to go through that and watch Manchester United win all those trophies. And yes, I know me good. I just said things weren't working at the time, right? But back, they picked up, and now we are seeing what they're doing. Let's use Arsenal, for example, right? I'll give 3 examples. Arsenal last league or winning was in 1999, if I'm not mistaken, right? So at the end there, they've gone through all these years. We are now in 2025. They haven't won a Premier League yet. I think they've won maybe a few FA Cups or whatever, but still, what people hope they do, that's not the level of more, right? And that last one, Manchester United, right? So Manchester in the 90s, 80s struggled, 90s picked up, had a very strong decade of trophies and major titles, and since 2012 they've hit a dip, right? Into many more teams, Cameroon, like I can go on and on and on. I think it's like there's that law said everything that goes up must come down at some point. But in this analogy that I'm giving, it only works if when it goes down, you really identify the gaps that you have and put in proper measures to be able to come back up, right?
Okay.
It is a hope you say a cultural now buffer man, and I say it be a buffer man, I say why get your due diligence to get it back up, and yet you become a name in history. Say, oh, it's our team, no more and you stay there for the next 100 years and still be a team with a big name and not doing anything relevant right now.
Okay.
It has, and I think we've hit a point where we are just down, but we also have some issues or some gaps, right? I listen to you guys talk about.
Okay, Arsenal in 2003, 2004.
2003,
And I'm moving in Premier League.
Okay, last time 2, 3, 4, right? So thanks for the correction.
Okay.
That's one side of it, and the other side is, I mean, we hear things, right? Like what is the coaches between the management, the board, and everything. I think in order for the pieces to work, they all need to connect the dots, right? And there's so much gaps. I believe it's in House of Foka until we all sit down as a unified front, put all our problems on the table, and come up with solutions on how we're going to fix it. We will continue to struggle, and somebody needs to man up, and people need to be willing to accept. So okay, my phone. Until that, everybody's going to carry their ego and think so. I'm over to my house. And they will continue to butt heads. And at the end of the day, who suffers? Us as the fans or the supporters of the club. So these two things need to happen. The law of up and down. Now we are down. To summarize real quick, now we are down. We need to put proper measures in place to get up. And on the other side, I'm friend when supporters, board, owner, sit down as a common front. And until people are even going to has supporters are wishing has lose.
Has supporters nearly lose
because of a yawa
in terms of recruitment, has recruitment. So we do how you as the diaspora chairman as acting recruitment. They say we need the real has your recruitment from those days that your name has, and currently the crowd has passed your recruitment. And me remember mostly when say players now in terms of quality, and also count that affected has position wise, because it new has from 90s from 95 Basa basic 2000s where has recruitment any name has recruitment or more. I want to ask you, say, how do you assess has recruitment?
Okay,
and going forward also.
Thanks for the question. I think we can always look at the past and compare it to current and even forecast the future. It is also past has time now work on. Like men found Kwechi, men started from 64 battalion, right? In the I want to say 90s or 2000s, right?
2000.
Has of folk at that point, at a certain point, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we as a clubs ranked from 1 through 10 or whatever. I think Haas was in the top 5 or 8 or top 10.
Maybe 8.
8.
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
So we're in the top 10. That is a huge accomplishment, right? Into back then, because of what Haas was doing, all the players and Kotoko was also people talk about 64 battalion and what they did, but yeah, now if you say on the opposite side, so sometimes so Kotoko, so Africa modern part.
Yeah, Morocco. Yeah, that
I think some lose.
Kotoko work 2002.
2002.
Right.
Yeah.
It is our time, you know. Both the top two clubs in Ghana, you know, were at their peak, right? It is a way a footballer. Ghana has said, you don't even need somebody to come recruit you. Say, but either Kotoko has one anchors and oh. If you know bumper say yes, ubenya opportunity, right? So it made recruiting a little bit easier because I know crowd to obi a fraud say player we are interested. Now also you're interested, you do that negotiation and you take it from there, right? Okay. So that I said like we have to reference the past and we talk about the present, we look at the future. So that was the past, right? Now we are in the present. Messi, I can say, has the 12,
14,
yeah, right?
Last 2 years, 12, last year, 14.
14,
sure.
Okay. So Kotoko, and Omunya better. Omo better, no cry 6 and something.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at our league standings and look at the number of points teams now accumulated. Even the winner of the league is winning the league with, I think, 60 points or something, like 60 something points, right?
Yeah,
okay.
around 60. Yeah.
Okay. That means to say, the clubs are preventing each other from gaining maximum points. It's competitive, if you will. Okay. Most of these teams are now being run more efficiently. They have the financial backing. They might not have the clout like Kotoko has. By the end of the day, the most important thing, and I think it's Super Agent Lobomo say, these boys want to go overseas. The past, they wanted to just play for House of Folk and retire in House of Folk. Now, they want to go overseas, right? So, what is their route to overseas? Enya has, Enya Kotoko. So if they have a Nations FC or they have a Bebiani Gold Stars or any club like that, Omo will say, Omo financial means now. Bema recruitment, no, are difficult for a Kotoko or has because they have the funds and they have the links to take these boys overseas. And you say, if you present that to them, and money them, right? If you play on because okay, so me nations, not nations, the Merkel Leicester City. And I'm for Kotoko has. Me here said, me here, I need funds or financial freedom now, and to go overseas. So I think that's where the problem is when it comes to recruiting right now. Too many teams fighting for the players, and the players are making the best decisions now for their own financial gains.
There's a competition in terms of recruiting players. At first, not the best players in all Ghana now. Imagine some Bokotoko and some Bohas. But right now, simple. They tell and I can competition now you king.
Oh yes.
If you come forward, you say, "Yeah, we call dream selves here."
On beton,
I'm met to coin. In this, I say, "Be a back house." Or better, they say, "Could dream selves." And I say, "We have been baby any Gold Stars." Go here, see, currently simple. The cut team back on two players for a certain baby any Gold Stars. Your players we had last year, not Kotoko airplane. But if you call maybe any, we have a goalkeeper here. Emmanuel Kobe. Not teams like a senior no more pay. But he ended up baby and indeed, Matilda and I can. And
also maybe a trip the be a player of a ball house or a ball Kotoko. No retire by Lydia.
Simple, it's the gospel truth. They are not cannot. Maybe a chairman. Ubusa players 50. The best players in Ghana, Ubusana and the target, they say, also Bokotoko, or also Bohasufu. By name assessor, what I say, and name assessor, even simple, I will tell you for a fact, say Hasufu can sign a player. They sign who they have a name as for us.
Okay.
One need but like 4 months.
Yeah, no quite.
But simple, yes, and at a point, you know, how is Hasufu going to maintain the players? And also can in terms of justify, if I say, oh, I'm on it. Now to say, Hasufu, justify. Yeah, now what you mean? In terms of just family, so only cool to attire a very good relationship.
Yeah.
It's what to say, or yet justify. Now what you mean? I say.
Okay, so I think that topic way has been a topic of discussion, right? And depending on how you look at it, with me are funny anyway. I think say even I can't talk about Europe, but I can talk about the MLS because over US, I've had some relationship with a few clubs over there. There is a couple of ways you players by. Or what I'd say or training grounds are you see they player but players too. Almost free club say and as I say. I was here be sure. They bring them in and they try out the work or
try out. How you friend justify? When now come what you say justify your inclusion.
That's what I want to mean.
That's what I want to mean. Inti me cry no my so in club inside because of the relationship I have with certain clubs, just to go normal more justify your inclusion.
Yeah.
So that is there, right? As to when it's like, and only yet to say be 1 or 2 players out there mobile.
And you be brave.
But from and yet at a higher level, at a lower level, me find say be a division.
If I say Auroras.
Yes.
Yeah, if I say Auroras.
Yes.
Talent.
Me who say we've done, and again, this is just mere observation in my opinion. Justify. Even when the boys come, they pay. It's me the boy in Econo. I was saying me try a registration fee of maybe $150. No my insurance near there. Send me a trial for maybe justify for 3 days. And through that, you know, even say FC Dallas, for example, I identify boy no free Sierra Leone or one of these countries are. Through that justify your inclusion, almost far boy into the second team. The boy was so good that within 1 season he made it to the first team. And now, because of what citizenship, when you're a citizenship, or my friend into the US youth national team. Into justifying it, but I think say at a higher level, we probably need to put a premium on how much.
And you will be an also to me about because to be I don't make say Oko has simple Oko has senior team. Last time you could what I didn't come.
Okay, Benjamin, but you mean can but Mammy announce line. Okay. We were seeing your person will be sana or Febani man can obisa 0531 65 0099 0531 65 0099. Benjamin to us man.
There Nanaka, or Patcher say the senior side. Because last time we could what I encounter. Okay, I say even signing one has to be Tom. Simple. When say coach attire was say so much free the senior side. On call Auroras.
Okay.
And me, that is where I will support the American. Say, Uko USA, homoye that trial, but even you have to pay. And a junior side. So Emma said the senior side, no. Simple say FC Dallas be more former Holland, I think Belgium, I said Benteke. More top players be. Oh, not simple that top team will be our open trial. I said 11, 12 players. And there are not can say na air patch.
Okay, mommy fa phone. Almost your movie sana na no family. Hello, good morning. Yeah, Robert, you have a call here.
I'm going to move here. How to book in Muna, whatever.
Okay. Nana wa hanum ti di obeso bi sani bi e kwa.
Maybe be done no question. Nana akwaba. Still call it one that you how to book a woman to young account. They don't get how to book it to me, Nana. When you are down, also get how to put support in the year. I need to back up. How to put support in here. Yana no to buffer it. I'll tell you, I will be paid. Now, Cabaya, and come in upon internet. Nay, I can say how to book it to me. The baby, and now say, yeah, no, I don't. Tell you what I will come from me. I do put the woman, but I will move my head. And Cabaya put it. Another can be a 1 second. New management. Abama has a fourth border. Ayakama. Now you team in the management at 16 years. Who are the Papaya Mayama has a book? What you want now about what you want about? No players of Mokwanana. You used to be man.
Okay,
Ciao.
Robert, that's it, Nana. You know, small. That's you, man.
That's it.
I don't know who you.
When your question, I think say Togbe ono na way na your opinion. And ono like in his knowledge or in his wisdom, sorry, not knowledge, in his wisdom. And way nipa or Jane said obetimi or my ejuma. First off, it starts with a vision, right?
Yeah.
Into what is Togbe's vision for House of Folk, right? His Majesty, sorry for that. What is his vision for House of Folk? I will say that's the starting point. Now, what's your vision now? Now, what me say? I say you are share puzzle. Into what's your vision now? And one who say, okay, it be a part of vision way no. Nipa me trust so bet me aye no. Eye. Alaji.
An honorable duty.
And also honorable duty. I think say on one na ahye. But here see no. I had too exposed because on the field of play itself, no, you results near into Esana, now I say, yeah, pointy hands, say. But let's the season, so we still have 7 games to go, and I'm confident, say, the way I will be me taking advantage of any lapses, no, meaning say we drop a points and we're doing so we be far now we swap far. Same way, it's me winning 4 games to 12, so all of a sudden you better top. We still have games to go. Rather than say a bit focusing on side on how best ne bit me they like how best can we support the team and the coach and encourage them. Say you are playing for House of Folk. There's 7 or 8 games left for the season. There's the possibility, say, if you put your things in place, obviously you're winning and it'll put you in a better place.
Okay, Nana, that's it. Hello, good morning.
Simple, man.
Yes, sir.
Any boy, go ahead and you.
You, Danny, Nana, waha, Mamintiwe. Your business, sir.
Yama akwaba nana. Nana ya trawo. Me timize. Kimi di skepo mo na timize. Ba ha so fo di skepo mo na timize. E kofo. Nana wo dawo ma, wo ba ije. Ya wo je tie je, aye de ya, wo be to be kakra, wo be ti o kakra. Ya srena la. Try me a pedimu. Ya pedi. Nana wo dawo wa. Ya tu agwemu a che. Ato. Na bi ko jwata na. Wo ba yi. 3 seasons you brought up a beer. I can't go for Plana with your one with it. Let them both get down. Oh, Nana, without woman, you did my Yasawala, and the Kaku, Miss Rawala. Without it, but I'm coming to
you. Danny boy, that's it. Nana, Coach Vatala said, the movie say, no more money swing. Send them Coach Vatala. If you don't see him, Pam, you miss one, your man time. One so stands in the same.
I think it's a process, right? And the OBA can absolutely 100% understand because it's passion talk, right? OBA you're passionate about BBA, saying Koya, you tend to say things and it be not like so what like when you what's that word? Say in any normal situation, no grano. Obesanga says, oh, I did I'm going kind of grand and I say we no grand and come on. Because passion makes people do a lot of things, and we are all passionate about the club. I think it's a process, right? And again, it goes back to the vision. And Coach Ibai, he came in mid-season, and I think we escaped relegation. This time around, was started team, people talk about say he did his own recruitment. That is true. And that can be the action say. But if Mokaya, and I know this because I was involved in some discussions, players now during the pre-season or off-season now not say a panel. There was a lot of names mentioned, and means me Fabian to job, but I spoke to certain personalities within the club to confirm say. Boys way you pay. So now so they make an diaspora no, we can go in and also do our part, right? Let me I can say
And I wish you the players need at least 2 or 3 be together.
Oh, say we know say your name. We spoke to this boy Emmanuel Entry.
When coach Bekan had our buy,
okay. We spoke to Emmanuel Entry.
Yeah.
But Emmanuel Entry, you know, me started something in the Kasana moves on has. No, but it's fine. Razak
Kasim for Olympics.
Kasim for Olympics. Your name boy be was Chelsea. Lord Amwa.
Right back to Kotoko.
Okay. Your name Kasai. Your name
Enoch Morrison.
Enoch crowd here, make I say match be a born crowd. No, see your managers no uncle. Names any Kotoko. Your Independence Cup. DC Cup, right? No, so stadium crowd is a official match capacity crowd. Your managers so Enoch and Seth we were talking to eventually yeah Seth, right? And this is just the few that I was involved in, and I know said there was many other players I'm in Bomuji.
Okay.
But when it was all said and done, no, yeah, set to pay, and Into my question is, did the coach really get players no penana? I don't think so.
Okay.
So
simple before another question.
Okay,
last question.
Obi su gina hand ba me ti wonu wi.
Okay.
Course on the ba ne baba TV inform. Hello, good morning.
Hello, morning.
Yes, sir.
Morning.
But on another Nyantakyi wa wo ti wa no pay.
Person bisa na say, come na coach Bodo ho no. Obo 3 matches. Wo draw ba ko lose ba ko na. We ba no mo jina so kama na tin coach wo bo be say 2 seasons ba bia ya na wo so mutimi ya den sta ko no. En na ya ba ya me ya adinjire. Wo so na enu wa.
Okay. Coach Bodo bought 3 matches or draw 2 no lose 1. On Olympics board draw on Kotoko board draw no lose we biana.
Okay, it does. I think say areas we learn from mistakes, right? Coach Bodu left Hassel folk at the peak, and actually, on the dear called peak, we hadn't seen peak in a very long time because a peak I see AJ trophies or has no. For a long time, yes, I na Bodu buying or the badges our trophies ni na sama team attractive and nipa airbo just no. Inti for him, no, he had set a target of winning. Inti or started so all lose some matches, no. All of a sudden, you know, we weren't at that point, no. Club no was not used to losing. Sure. And I think say out of said yeah panicky as a club, no, we thought say yeah man that was the best decision then. Okay. So that was the first. Again, this is my opinion. I think that was a mistake we did because it goes back to the vision.
Okay. How Saki would who feel say?
I think so. At the time.
Okay, that's
right. Because the season was still young. I think he started 3 matches and Manipuri.
Olusu 1 board draw 2.
Because Oma used to say, oh winning, oh lose, no. They thought say, so I'm going to miss a son in Tema, you bet me as I recover. And that clearly that did not work, right? I think say again, this is my opinion. Many young Kasa M5. I don't know the thought process that went into this, but if putting myself as an administrator in anybody's shoe, no, I would think say we learned from our mistake, and now no, we brought Quatara in. We have a vision of what we want to achieve, right? Coach knows the vision because Tobe, His Majesty has sat with him. Me, I know say I haven't heard anything, but we want to build the club to become like a sporting club and everything like that with the facilities that we have. If we make that same mistake of letting Coach Quatara go out, then I think we bring somebody else in. We can, like there's names out there. We bring those people in and they also start losing out. Then the cycle that we've had for the last 9 years, we haven't learned from it. We just bring them in and kick them out, right? I think so we should see this one through, and at the end of the season, they need to sit down again and reassess, and hopefully whatever mistake we've done the last 2 seasons, it's hard because maybe I'm super agent can say I say from our mistakes, I hope we don't repeat that mistake going the 3rd time round. I think say Yambo season in then we'll take it from there.
Okay, manager, I know the course on the ban about
If
you will
last one,
I'll follow you.
I say the acting. Say Bia, but be confirmed say the diaspora chairman. Not say His Majesty to be afraid because as meet you, I think say we need the one grown mono. I was sure me you meet a lot of football people are more good day no nsem se bia ye de o ka se be has board because me simple enye bia na mbeka I feel say has go do baby I say same ideas for a long over time as I check I feel say ye me tie won sem a wo kan ni ade na say ye nyawo mu say be has board no ma na minimum ambition there but will you be interested say if I say wo America na bia you invite us if you as a diaspora chairman but has board no na be impart knowledge to the house board even me and I say be but even the MD role me MD no buy here no he's working but I feel say he can do more say bia o hana bia say His Majesty kasi bia na nyata to take over as the House of Folk MD because as you say you were born and bred in House of Folk na be take over why will you do your decision.
Okay. Thanks for the question. I think say the kind of the house no you're free photography but house not yeah anything that has to do with House of Folk no is of interest to me if you will but and yet easy sir because when say the more like be two points, some move be 2 points, but more than I like this is your home, move free feel, and also over 20 something years, you know, will be man so I in feel, and say to take something any role, whether it's a board or if people see me say I can contribute in any other position, it'll take something, it'll take a lot for me to say my home so free baby, but I bet not a different country, which is it's home for me anyway. And it's not a single decision. It's probably a family. All my money now, it'll have to be in command. As a family. But I know, say, at some point, I would definitely come and play a role. Whether it's now, the future, I don't know. But definitely at some point, I'll play a huge role in the House of Folk.
Okay, sure. Messages no course in the band ever, but Yemre Nasso. And the James and Kenyano, or higher parent in the Yemre Biblical. A call of bay 2-3 times Grantino. The Bepe, Brefo for nothing, and Nasaba. And I said for now, the overtime. Meetings not a dozen. Okay, Tinana, the better was a pa. Meeting the Odija has a bush and the football loving fans now.
Okay. Madam was for having me over. A privilege, mommy. Say, I don't pay my friend, my dream of grass at least, meaning there I cram on membership. Sir has fans to say, or more encores will support the team. I know, say we are at low points right now, but the goodness will come very soon. Mama Bomumbu, Yambon in my team now. Hopefully, we'll be able to pick up back and be in a respectable position.
Now, for you, 7th on the Lord.
We have 7 matches to go, and anything can happen.
Okay. Coach Emmanuel Ifa, Italy, also what Chiano pay, only Mr. Bright, UK. If any force of which the coach Ifa, so now no, Mr. Bright, so the message about me now, so I'm enjoy interview.
Make sure with coach, their tactics as well. I froze. Make sure we know.
Nana, that's in a